All right, you know what it is. This one's gonna be about ADX and how intricate it is and how dudes pull a woman no matter where he at. My man pulled a female correction officer in ADX Supermax with 23 and 1 lockdown. Picture that. Sit back, enjoy the ride, stick around to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video and hit the bell notification. Let's go. All right. All right, you know what it is, man. Unique Mecca audio, man. I'm gonna tell you this one about how my man from Sacramento, you know what I mean? Pulled a female, you know. Matter of fact, he was a blood. He pulled a female from in Adx Supermax. Now, this is real intricate. Sit back and pay attention. That's the selling Adx. I sat in that cell for 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. You know what I mean? No rec on the weekends. 5 days a week. We get 5 hours rec a day. Could you imagine only coming out your bathroom closet for 5 hours a week? All right? That's how I had to live. So that's how I'm trying to tell the youngins, you ain't trying to live like that. So don't say that I'm promoting nothing and all this soul, you know, hold up, and all this soul rat bastard, trolling, flip-flop, wearing in public crap. All right? Now, my man was sitting there, he doing his thing. You know, fly dude had little curls in his head. Cause remember, this is like 95. You know what I mean? So they still had the Jerry curls and all that on that side of the coast, right? So, you know, fly dude, you know, when you go out to the rec yard, right? They got, right on the rec yard, they got windows. You know, see those little windows right there in the back of me in the green, right there in the back of me in the green? That's the window facing the yard. So if you're on the first floor, people could come out directly to your window. If you're on the second floor, you could look out and you bang on the window for who you're trying to call. That's in another range because only one range at a time goes to the rec yard. All right? So we sit there. Hold up, man. Hold up. Early. Yeah. Yo, who this? I'm doing a video. I'm letting you know I'm recording. What's up?
Oh, good morning. I ain't you back, Playboy.
All right, Playboy. If you want to say something, you can say something. I just want to let you know it's recorded. It's on you.
Nah, do your thing. Do your thing.
All right, family. Yeah. So, you know, as again, I answer my phone. So y'all can't say I don't answer phone. Yesterday, I apologize to everybody that called. I'm going to return the calls today. I was out. I didn't have a charger. And, you know, my phone went dead the first time in 3 years. I get on people for letting their phones go dead because that's your communication to the world. So I had to get on myself for leaving without my portable charger to be able to charge it while I was on the move. So that's why I didn't accept the calls yesterday. But y'all feel free to call back today. Now, so we go to that window. And when you go to the window, you know, you'll show somebody like, yo, I got this new book of Rowan Harlem. Make sure you copy it at rowanharlem.com. And be like, yeah, let me see it. How many pages? And you flip through it and you show them it. And then you might tell them, yo, I just got these pictures yesterday. You know what I mean? And you hold the pictures up to that little window. You know, oh, yeah, that's, you know, me, Tut, Sin, you know, Shaw, you know, this in Lee County. So I might hold the pictures up and say, yeah, this the picture I got, da-da-da. You know what I mean? And we do our thing, right? So that's how that was. So I used to go to this dude's window because he wasn't, you know, on my floor. So only time I could talk to him is through that window. So he called me over to the window. They had my case in the Emerge magazine with the Kimber Smith story and, you know, all that. So he was like, yo, this you? And he was like, oh, man, you used to get money, da-da-da-da. He was like, yo, you had women. You're a real playboy. I was doing my thing, too. So that's how I met him. But now what happened with that is his you know, like I said, this is an ADX, right? Nobody liked this dude because he had everything he wanted. His mama took care of him. His mama bought him all the books, you know, sent him all the books. So, you know, she sent him pictures. So he had everything. And people in there, a lot of people didn't really have nothing because majority of people that was there was already down over a decade or two and came from marrying over to ADX because I was one of the first inmates to open up ADX, right? You know, that's when I was there with Delroy Uzi, David Ford, you know, Fly from D.C., you know, rest in peace to David Ford. Tell Fly to holler at me too, man. Good dude. I was there when his brother got killed. That's when they sent him there. And that's how I met him through the vent, you know. And, I don't want to tell that story without, talking to Fly first, but that's a Fly little ADX story. With Fly, he came from Lawton. He had Lawton on lock, so they wound up closing Lawton and put everybody in the federal system and send him to Supermax, being that, he was doing things over there that, they felt they needed to shut it down, and he had too much control, him and his other comrades. But I'll only tell that story after I talk to Fly, because that's how I do. I don't just tell stories to tell stories. I get confirmation from homies. Now, if y'all want to hear this story, because I'm riding, let me ride right now. Just relax. Let me ride. I'm riding early, If y'all want to hear a story about Boy George and Prince, out in Lombard, how everything was going to crash, put it in the comments. I ain't even give y'all a Boy George story yet or a Prince story yet, but put it in the comments and, I think about it. But, like I said, I'm leaving a cell up there because I want you to see the cell, for the moment. But anyway, so we in there. My man's mom's used to come up and visit him every week. So every week he going out to visit. We in the middle of the Rockies and we underground. The jail was literally underground. So ain't nobody coming in there. But my man's mom used to come every week because she moved from Sacramento over there to Colorado Springs and was coming to visit him regularly. And from her coming up to visit him, she met Mario Villabona. Not Mario. She met Juan Ramon Mata. Let me show you a picture of Juan so you understand. Because it's going to trickle into Juan too, because I'm riding, man. Let me ride. That's Juan Ramon Mata. Official gangster, was down with Escobar and all of them. Had big white horse, mansions, everything. And he's from Honduras. They even named the street after him. I told you about him before, but I'm just giving a little quick rundown, talking really fast, so we ain't got to slow down the story for the people that's new to the channel. He used to, work for Escobar, official dude from Honduras. Got a street named after him in Honduras. Got the cigars, the Juan Ramon Mata cigars. He owned hotels and all that in Vegas. Big boy. That's why, they show you how small-minded these trolls are, right? I said I sold 25 keys a day, and they go, ooh, nobody could have did that. Here's a man on the screen that I was locked up with that was importing tons of cocaine. You know what I mean? Now, picture me being a troll telling, nah, you couldn't have did that. They didn't know you could have did that. Where you going to put a ton? How you going to bring a ton in? How you sell a ton? There's no way you could transport a ton. That's what these rat bastards and trolls sound like to me. That's why I don't even respond to them, But anyway, so Juan Ramon Mata was on the tier with us. Like I said, I'm riding. I'm taking you through ADX right now. Y'all in ADX with me right now. Y'all there what? Gunshots. All right, wake up. All right, so now we up in ADX. Juan Ramon Mata, he's so fly, so filthy rich. I get there, my property, and get there for a minute because I was allegedly stabbed 2 police in Lewisburg, kicked off a riot, turned a big industrial fan into a Jamaica on One Pop for all the people that know what a One Pop is, right? So they send me over there and then take long for send me property. So by the time my property come to the joint, right, Juan Ramon Mata sends me down a commissary list. And he said, fill out for whatever you need, So I get the joint in. I just put, bar toothpaste, soap, toothbrush, deodorant, the basic things. So now when commissary day came, they came with a big old cart with like 4 bags of food. And they brought me so much stuff. And all I ordered was little 5 items. So, I take the joint to sell the next morning. I go to rec and I said, yo, I think they sent that down to the wrong cell. And he said, nah, my comrade, I look out for all men of honor, and I know who you are. You know what I mean? He said, that's for you. I told you to fill out the list. You put what you wanted, so I picked some things. I hope you like it. Whatever you don't like, you can give it to somebody else on the tier. Now, this dude was so fly and filthy rich, right? Filthy rich for you rat bastards and trolls, He was so fly and filthy rich that he used to send everybody. We had, I think it was 18 cells on a tier. 18 cells on a tier, and they left the last 4 cells open in case there was an emergency at another joint, like a, uprising or something like what I got there on, or, any type of emergency. So every unit had the last 4 cells open on every range. So it was 14 of us on the range. This dude used to send everybody on the range $300 a month. He'll tell you, send me your name and number. You get him your name and number, he get it, he get it out to his lawyer. and his lawyers send you $300 a month so that, you could buy the limit and the whole unit have a party on him. You know what I mean? So picture that. What was that? 300 times 10 is 3,000 plus the 4. Call it $4,200 a month. He was sending to, everybody on the tier because he had to do something to spend his money. So I asked him one day, I said, man, you've been sending money to all of us, for about 6-7 months. I've been here now. So I'm talking about that's over $50,000-$60,000 the man giving away in prison. He said, when you make money, you make sure everyone around you eat. And that's how we got cool. Because that's the way I was raised. Maybe it's an island thing, you know what I mean? Or a New York thing, I don't know. But, he said, make sure everybody eats. So every month, everybody, whether you needed it or not, you got $300 on your books. That's what ADX was like when you with drug lords. That's a drug lord, These rat bastards and trolls and flip-flop wearing in public clowns, you know what I mean? They can't phantom that, much less a kingpin. 25 keys a day. Some days it might have been 30, some days it might have been 40, some days it might have been 10, some days it might have been 15. You know what I mean? But the trolls, they jump. Now they want to run and do the math on your money. That reminds me of, because I'm riding. I'm riding. That reminds me of when I first got the ADX and I saw on the Source magazine they had, this is how long ago it was, if y'all remember this Source magazine. I think it was 96, right? About 96, 97, when they sent the Source magazine that had Cash Money on it when they just got their deal with Universal and they had a helicopter on the joint. Dude said, oh, that's rented. They can't be getting that money. The rap game don't pay that much money because the rappers don't get no money. Because when we was on the street, the rappers wasn't getting no money. They was getting raped. You know what I mean? Period. But then now, the game done changed. And Master P came in, then, these dudes came in and they was on the cover with all these jewels and everybody looking at it. And that was a big conversation amongst the peons. That's what I call them, the peons. You gotta be a peon if you're worrying about the next man's money. Only worry about the next man's money if you're gonna take it or you're trying to be a part of it. How are you going to take Cash Money, or how are you going to be a part of their money when you're sitting in ADX, or why are you discussing their money? But that's how they had trivial time to waste. I took that time to learn to read and write, because at this time I couldn't read or write. So while they busy arguing about that, I'm sitting there with my little math book or my science GD book or my social study G book, and, they looking at me. They say, Unique, what do you think about that Biggie from your hometown? How much money you think Biggie worth? And do I give a crap how much money he worth? He ain't giving me nothing. But this is the type of things they worry about. But anyway, because like I said, I'm riding, you know how it is. So now, this dude's that was there from Sacramento, his mother was coming to visit him regular, and when Juan Ramon Mata's family came, this might be about Juan Ramon Mata, the way it might sound like, because this is his part of the story, because I'm riding. If you don't like the ride, get the hell out the whip. You know what I mean? And make sure don't slam my door, because I will shoot you in your ass on the way out. But now, so check. Not promote nobody, shoot nobody in the ass, because we on this old trolling ass YouTube shit where they just look for anything. Oh, he's promoting shooting somebody. But anyway, so while Ramon Mata turns around, his money's so filthy long. He went and bought a house in Colorado Springs. You know what I mean? He bought a whole house in Colorado Springs, and, so that when his children fly in from Honduras, or California, they didn't have to stay in a hotel. They stayed in his house, and he gave the house to this dude's mama to run. So the mama moved in rent-free, big, nice house. And he even bought 2 Lexuses, He bought 2 400 Lexuses back then. One for his kids to drive when they come, and one that he gave to my man's mother. You see how long this money is? These are the type of people I was around, for you little rat bastards and trolls that don't understand that 25 keys wasn't nothing. That's a drop in a bucket. You know what I mean? People like this wipe their ass with 25 keys. You know what I mean? But, so this dude's mom is now staying in this house and driving a brand new Lexus, that he gave to her with the title. Then the other Lexus for his children when they came in. So when they came in, she went and picked them up from the airport, brought them to the house. They had the car to drive around and get up there on their own, and everything was good. So now this dude's mother start going to the local bars and stuff that the COs go to, because she was young, looked good, liked to go out, have fun, and it wasn't a whole lot going on. So the COs went to the same bars as the locals. So as she's going to the bar, she meets, this Spanish CO cop that used to work in the laundry. You know what I mean? She was real cool, because when you get to ADX, let me see I might have it in this picture. Let me take my man Juan down for a minute. But now, in ADX, right? Oh, that's the back of the cell. In ADX, right? Let me see. Hey, do I have a front picture? In ADX, they got bars on the joint, right? They got bars on the joint. Let me try and see if I can move this up while I'm talking, see if I'm that nice with running my own system myself. They got bars in the front. They got bars in the, they got two sets of bars, All right, let me see. Take this off. We're going to try and pop this up, see if this got it. Dang, that's still the back of the cell. Well, that's the cell I lived in for years, by myself, watching these walls close in. But in the front of the cell, they have bars, and then it's a little sally port, you know what I mean? And a big window on the side, and then it has a wall with another window and another sliding door. So we double locked in. If we break out the bars, then you got to break out the other door just to get in the hallway. You know what I mean? So that's how this was. But this lady used to come and stand up in the sally port, because when they come and they hit the button, they open up the metal door, and then you go in the middle, and, they give them your laundry, your law books or whatever. If the police is scared, they'll have the police come down there, and the police be like two police, one going on the right, one going on the left, and the officer coming in the middle, and they got these batons, and if you put your hands through the bars, bang, they hit you, bang, and put your hands back in the bars. But this lady used to, like if we come down there and we didn't get something back in the laundry, or we needed, new browns because we just came in, or they gave it the wrong T-shirt, she'll go get it, bring it down, was cool with the police, so she'd tell them, yo, bus cell number 5, I got some laundry for them. They open up 5, but just the front, sliding door, so she's in the sally port, then it's the bars. So dude, she used to come and see dude in the bars where they couldn't see her because she's in that sally port from the front. And she'll hang and say, yo, your mom, I met your mother, she told me about you. He said, yeah, my mom told me about you. I said, oh, I ain't know you was that cute, da-da-da. And he started rapping to her. So every time she'll come, she'll bring something after work, the mother wait for her, pick her up, they hang out. So they started hanging out regular. So really the mama pulled her. Not taking nothing from him because I'm no hater, because he had games, because he kept her. But anyway, so she kept coming to see dude in the joint, and she's bringing him laundry, and, next thing you know, she brings him some panty shots. You know what I mean? We in ADX, At this time, I'm only down about 4 years. I locked up in 93, this like 96, 97. You know what I mean? It's only been out 4 years. So now you got dudes been out 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? That's in ADX. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the day I got there, Matula Shakur left. Like I said, we had Dave Fly there. We had, Dave Ford. We had Fly. We had Escobar's hitman, Tyson. Look him up, Tyson, official killer. You know what I mean? And we had Mario Villabona. That's who used to supply Harry O and, Bo Bennett and them out there in the West. Then we had Ray Lute Lassiter. He was the one that used to, rob armored cars and give it to the Black Panther movement, was down with Matula Shakur and all that. This is a white man, French dude that didn't like the way they was treating blacks here. So they went around funding the Black Panther movement by robbing armored cars. And before y'all, rat bastards, go judging them, just know that when they did the Iran-Contras war, they put the crack cocaine in our neighborhoods, taught us how to, cook it up, and, put that through, what they say, through Freeway Rick Ross. I ran into Rick Ross the other day, too, in New York. Big shout out and round of applause to Rick Ross. You know what I mean? All right, relax, man, relax. Let me tell my story, man. God, right? So, Rick Ross, they said it's who was the main player with the Iran-Contras joint. But the same way the government was using the cocaine to fund the weapons in, the Iran-Contras war is the same way, this was going on. You understand? Just so you understand what I'm saying, pay attention. If I lose you, I lose you. I mean, what I mean, rewind the joint. It'll be another view anyway. But so that's where he was at, right? So we all up in this joint, man. I'm talking about King Blood. You know what I mean? The Unabomber. Timothy McVeigh when he was going to trial. You know what I mean? For, the Oklahoma City joint. I mean, I was with some of the craziest, man. I don't know how I made it out there alive with my mind still in order. But then again, I do know because Dr. Shakur told me on the plane before I got off to go into ADX, whatever you do, don't take their medication because you're aggressive, so they're going to try and slow you down, Sure enough, first day I got there, got the crazy ass whooping just for getting off the bus. Then I got another ass whooping for not taking the TB shot because I just took it the day before. I told them I'm not taking it. If y'all want to hear any of these stories, put them in the comment for any names that I mentioned, and we go up from there. So now, right? So Mata would send money to everybody. Everybody good. Mom's met the female at the bar, put him up with the joint, you know what I mean? She started coming to see him. But this dude started taking the pictures. You see that little window right above the head by the pillow? That's the wall that looks out. That little metal box you see? That was the shower. Because we never left the cell for no shower or nothing, only for that 1 hour a day. And if something happened in the USP, like in USP, Colorado, they locked us down. Because I remember, y'all might want to hear this story. I'm going to talk to some of my Serenos and Black Hand in California, see if it's all right to give you all the story about Champ. You know what I mean? My people in the West Coast, you know what I mean, the Serenos and stuff, they know who Champ is. You know Champ, you know what I mean? I was in ADX with Champ. And, and Little Herbie, you know what I mean? Herbie Weta. He was from Texas. Y'all know that. If y'all from Texas, I'm talking about. Herbie Weta and Champ was there at the same time when they had the big on-site war with both of their, California MA and, Texas MA. And, I was there, I was cool with both of them. They was good men. Herbie was, a little older than me, maybe my age, but, Champ was much older. He was the older, wiser one, good dude, right? So now, see the names that I know, and that's why, the rat bastards don't like that. My content is too long. My history is too deep. You know what I mean? My life is too powerful. But anyway, let me get back, because, you know me, I'm riding. I'm riding. Now, so this old chick would come and she brought him these pictures, and he'll sit there and he'll hold the pictures up like I was showing you earlier. Let me see if I show y'all another picture, just to show you what time. Oh, yeah, surprise. Everybody been asking about the little Jimmy story, right? Part 3, the little Jimmy, I said I wasn't going to do it till I found the picture. But guess what I found? I finally had time to go through my stuff. The picture of the Chinese connection. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give you all the little Jimmy joint real soon. You know what I mean? This is the Green Dragons right here from over in Queens. Big shout out to Chinese Brian, Tone, and, the whole nine. And, but, I found the picture of me with the Chinese connection so now I could give y'all some of these good Chinese stories. If you want to put it in the comment. If not, I'm going to keep it going the same way I ignored it for over a year because it took me that long to dig it out because I just moved, new studio, new everything. But anyway, so we up in the joint. He's showing the pictures to people in the window. But he used to talk reckless to people because he was a show-off. You know what I mean? Real show-off. That's why me and him got along. We were both flossy, But a lot of dudes that didn't like him, And he used to sell death through the bars, meaning... And I'm not going front. And there's no disrespect because, like I said, I know Lotus Park Pyru dudes, official dudes, you know what I mean? I know Rolling 60s official, But this dude, yes, he was a blood, but he had nothing to do with that. But he used to do stuff like, he was a cell gangster. He'd yell out the window, out the bars. When the police came out to tear for something, if he's arguing with somebody, yo, F you, I'm going to kill you, and I see you, I'm a this, I'm a that, and he's carrying all, woo, 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 woo. And now the police come, so now the police is going to move one of them. So he did that all the time. That was his little routine, you know what I mean? And, he started a lot of beefs with people, and, so I'm getting ready to tap out on this, but I'm going to give you the ending, you know what I mean? Which is a sad ending. Because the dude wasn't no rat bastard or nothing. So, I say sad ending. He goes home, and it was the Crips came to Colorado. The Crips came to Colorado, and they was on the street. That's where they had a dude. I'm going to look him up, because I want to tell his story. There was a Crip from Colorado, a young boy, right? He went to trial, for like murder and all this stuff, and he blew trial. When this dude blew trial, they turned around and he was going through the death penalty phase, and he said, skip the phase. Just execute me because your system crooked anyway. That's how gangsters were back in my time. He said, yo, we don't need none of that. You know what I mean? He said, yo, execute me. And they're like, no, we can't do it without a trial. And the dude said, well, I'm not going to your trial. You know what I mean? Just execute me and get it over with. You know what I mean? Because I'm never going to be a rat bastard, and I'm not going to sit through that railroad you just pulled off on me. So, just execute me. And the young boy, they actually executed him out there. You know what I mean? Without going through the paperwork or not. I'm going to look it up so you get the name. And then, who was the other one? Who's another one with the execution? Oh, Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh was something else, right? Timothy McVeigh, he straight told them, skip all that. Let's just get right to the execution. We're not going to play this game because we already know this joint crooked, so I'm not going to put my family through it. But that's how gangsters move, whatever color you are, whatever race you are. And those are the ones that I call my homies. So I'm going to say this again. Let me get up in the camera so y'all can hear this, right? Now read the words coming out my mouth. You're not my homie because you're from my geographical location, because you're the same skin color, because you're the same race as me. That don't make you my homie. That just makes you a man. Your conduct determines if you're my homie, because if you're not dealing with morals and principles and standing on the code, you can never be my homie. And I won't have anything against you. Just identify yourself. Like I'm identifying myself, what I stand for. A man. If you are a rat bastard, identify yourself. You don't need to hide. And then I know if I want to deal with you, stay away from you or not, but I'm not a rat hunter anymore. Those days are over. Now, let me go back to the story. So the Crips came out there, they doing their thing, and, being that dude, and this is at the time when, Bloods and Crips was beefing hard on the streets, so he in the prison yelling the Bloods is better than the Crips, and the Bloods is tougher than the Crips, and this and that, and he's arguing because every time they put on the news, I think they came from Oklahoma. You know what I mean? I think the Crips came from Oklahoma. By way of somewhere, but to Oklahoma. But they wound up in Colorado, and they kept putting it on the local news, and this dude was always yelling out a tear, talking about how they was cowards, and they fake it, and they not real Crips, because they not from Cali, and Cali was this, and this is all this, he yelling through the bars, and he started all this, right? With the homies, that they homies is on the street in Colorado. And he's selling death to them. And then he's getting ready to get paroled. Make sure you cop the book of Rowan Harlem, man. All right? At rowanharlem.com. But check out what happens. Let's check out what happens. Right? This dude goes home. And they wound up blowing his face off. All from the beef that he had in ADX. They literally blew his whole face off. Left his mama to bury him with a closed casket because he couldn't keep his mouth shut in the prison, was selling death, to the Crips that was in there, about the Crips that was on the street in Oklahoma was faking, and they this and they that, and all this stuff, and not knowing that you get ready to go to the street. That's what dudes don't understand. They sell death through the bars, and then they got to go back on the compound. You know what I mean? I guess because he figured he going home. These dudes ain't never going home. He can sell on death. He want, he go home, he going to be good. But mind you, he's from Sacramento, but he moved out to Colorado, and now he's selling death to the dude homies that's out there in Colorado, saying that they wasn't real Crips because they came from Oklahoma or something like that. Picture that. Tourist top off, So, Cash App on the screen. I don't care if it's $1, $5, if it ain't nothing, at least just make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. Subscribe and hit the bell. Let's get this going, and make sure you hit the like so we get this up in rotation. Share this video. All right? So I'm about to tap out and know that, have a good day, man. I think I might do another Freaky Friday story. If y'all want another Freaky Friday story, you got till Friday to put it in the comments. I'll tell you a whole story about how, I'm thinking about telling the one about how when I went up in River Park Towers and the girl was sucking a blow pop, put it down. Oh, let me chill. All right? Tap it out. If you want it, let me know. All right?
Cheers. Toast the crime. can of 26. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the Adx Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust down. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend it Ed. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the rudiment.